Have you ever paused beneath the endless night sky and wondered why, in certain moments, it feels as though the entire universe is breathing with you? Why some questions rise within your heart without warning, pressing against your soul with a weight you cannot ignore. This is not imagination, dear seeker. It is the first sign of awakening. An invisible current flows through every human being, but only when the right moment comes does it stir so strongly that you can no longer turn away. That stirring is your call, your invitation, your path opening before you like a sacred gate that has always been there, waiting for your knock. Awakening is never a matter of chance. It is the slow breaking of illusions that have clouded your sight for lifetimes. It is the unraveling of false identities you once wore like garments. Just as the Buddha once said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. To awaken is to finally realize that the chains binding you are woven, not from steel, but from thoughts that can be transformed. The light that begins to flicker within you is the reminder that you are not simply a body moving through time, but a soul woven from the fabric of eternity. The ancient sages understood this secret well. In numerology, numbers are not cold markers of calculation, but living vibrations, echoes of the universe itself, humming within our very being. In Buddhist philosophy, awareness is like a bell. When it rings, the sound carries far, awakening all who hear it. Have you not felt this before? That strange yet familiar pull, as though unseen forces are guiding you toward a truth you cannot yet fully name. That is awakening. It is not a lesson taught, but a memory remembered. Seers like Nostradamus hinted at this long ago, speaking of an age where humanity would awaken, not as one, but in waves, like tides that return again and again to forgotten shores. Baba Vanga, too, whispered of generations who would feel their inner voice louder than the clamor of the outer world, and who would rise not through power or wealth, but through wisdom. Could it be that we are now standing at the edge of that prophecy, that you, listening here and now, are part of the wave foretold? But the path of awakening is not always soft. It is forged in fire, carved through storms, shaped by suffering. Consider the lotus flower. It does not grow in clean water. It rises from the muddiest swamps, yet transforms that darkness into beauty, opening each petal as though defying the very soil from which it came. In the same way, your struggles are not accidents. They are the mud that nourishes your awakening. As the Zen masters remind us, the obstacle is not in the way, the obstacle is the way. And so you begin to see that awakening is less about escaping the world and more about seeing the world clearly, perhaps for the first time. What once seemed ordinary reveals its hidden patterns. Numbers reveal their secret harmonies. Life's hardships show their hidden blessings. The smallest details, a breeze, a silence, a flicker of light, speak as though the universe itself has leaned close to whisper in your ear. Awakening is not adding something new, but removing the dust so the mirror of your soul may shine. Now, I turn the question back to you, beloved seeker. Can you feel that restlessness inside you, that quiet voice that refuses to be silenced? What part of your being is already awake, even if you have not yet named it? The very fact that you are here, listening, seeking, wondering, that is your first step. Awakening does not wait until tomorrow. It begins the moment you dare to ask, who am I really, and why am I here? The path of inner numbers. Have you ever wondered why certain numbers seem to appear again and again in your life? Perhaps you glance at the clock and it reads 11:11, or maybe the number 7 keeps surfacing on your receipts, dreams, or even in conversations. To the unawakened eye, these moments are mere coincidence, but to the soul that has begun to stir, these are not random at all. They are messages. Numbers are the sacred whispers of the cosmos, subtle signals pointing you toward truth that words alone cannot carry. They are not here to confuse you, but to guide you back to yourself. In Buddhist philosophy, simplicity often conceals the greatest truths. A single mantra, repeated with devotion, can transform an entire lifetime. In the same way, a single number, when understood, can reveal a universe of meaning. The one is unity, the essence of the whole, the seed of creation. The two is duality, reminding us that without darkness we cannot know light, without sorrow we cannot taste joy. The three reflects harmony, the balance between heaven, earth, and humanity. Each digit is like a step on an invisible staircase, carrying us closer to the realization that nothing in life is separate, everything is connected by a rhythm older than time itself. The mystics of the past understood this deeply. Nostradamus, in his cryptic verses, often concealed hidden numerical codes, patterns that hinted at cycles in human destiny. Baba Vanga, too, spoke of a time when people would begin to see signs everywhere, even in the smallest of details. She said, "The world will speak to those who are willing to listen. And what is listening if not paying attention to the numbers that cross your path? Could it be that the universe is already speaking to you, not in thunder or lightning, but in the simple elegance of recurring digits?" Think about your own life for a moment. Your birthday is not just a date. It is a unique vibration that shapes your personality and your destiny. The cycles of the sun and moon, the way seasons unfold, the rhythm of day and night, all are bound by numerical patterns. The ancients called this the music of the spheres, the harmony that holds the planets in orbit and the stars in their constellations. Numerology is not invention, it is recognition. It is the realization that behind every layer of reality there is a structure, a rhythm, a hidden song that guides both the galaxies above and the quiet heartbeat within you. When you begin to study numbers as vibrations rather than symbols, they transform into spiritual teachers. The number 7 whispers of introspection, urging you to seek the hidden truth within yourself. The number 9 speaks of compassion, of endings that are really beginnings, of serving humanity with an open heart. The master number 11 calls you toward intuition, a heightened awareness that pierces the veil of ordinary perception. Each number becomes a doorway, a lamp on the path of awakening. As the Buddha once said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Perhaps your teachers are already here, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to notice. But here lies the challenge to the distracted mind. Numbers remain lifeless and meaningless. They are dismissed as coincidence, ignored as chance. Yet for the awakened heart, they are radiant with significance. This is the great test of awakening. Will you allow the signs to pass unnoticed? Or will you stop long enough to hear what they are truly saying? The lotus does not bloom without mud, and wisdom does not shine without silence. In the same way, numbers will not reveal their power unless you are willing to pause, to listen, to honor them as the sacred signals they are. So I ask you, beloved seeker, when was the last time you felt a strange pull toward a number? Did it echo in your dreams? Did it appear when you were at a crossroads? Did you feel, even for a fleeting second, that it was more than coincidence? Perhaps that number was the universe knocking gently at the door of your soul. The question now is, will you open the door? Will you trust the guidance that numbers offer, and let them light your way through the unfolding mystery of your life? The ritual of salt and water. In every ancient culture, rituals were not merely symbolic acts, but bridges between the visible and the invisible worlds. Among them, the ritual of salt and water has endured through centuries as a sacred practice of purification. It is simple, almost deceptively so, yet hidden within its simplicity is a profound wisdom. To write your name on paper and immerse it in salt water is to offer your essence to the universe, to surrender your burdens and open yourself to transformation. In this gesture, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the mundane becomes a doorway into the sacred. Water in Buddhist philosophy is not just an element, it is a teacher. It represents clarity of mind, purity of spirit, and the ability to flow with life rather than resist it. Just as rivers carve valleys and oceans cradle continents, water teaches us the quiet strength of adaptability. Salt, on the other hand, has long been revered for its cleansing and protective qualities. It neutralizes negativity, dissolves stagnant energies, and creates a shield against harmful vibrations. When salt and water unite, they form a powerful vessel of renewal, a natural alchemy that dissolves not only physical impurities, but also the unseen shadows of the soul. Imagine for a moment writing your name, a simple act that carries your essence, your history, your identity, then surrendering it to this sacred mixture. As the paper touches the water, it begins to soften, blur, dissolve. This is not destruction, but transformation. It symbolizes the release of your fears, attachments, and old patterns into the infinite flow of the cosmos. In that dissolving, you are freed. As the Buddha once taught, just as a snake sheds its skin, we too must shed our past again and again. This ritual is the shedding, the gentle unbinding of what no longer serves you. The subconscious mind responds powerfully to such acts. Modern psychology confirms what ancient seers already knew, that rituals create anchors in the mind, shaping thought patterns and opening pathways of transformation. By placing your name in salt water, you are sending a message to your deeper self. I am ready to release. I am ready to receive. I am ready to align. This is why so many who practice this ritual report sudden clarity, lightness, or unexpected opportunities appearing soon after. The ritual does not force the universe, it prepares you to be in harmony with it. Nostradamus wrote in veiled verses about purification before renewal, hinting at the necessity of cleansing before great change could arrive. Baba Vanga often spoke of a coming era when humanity would rediscover forgotten practices, simple acts that carried hidden power. Could this salt water ritual be one of those timeless tools, resurfacing now, when the world is more distracted, more restless, more in need of alignment than ever before? It is often in the smallest practices that the greatest truths are hidden. This ritual also serves as an act of mindfulness. To perform it with intention, writing slowly, breathing deeply, watching the paper surrender to water, is itself a form of meditation. You become fully present, conscious of each motion, of each thought released, of each breath aligned with your intention. In this way, the ritual not only cleanses your energy, but also trains your awareness. It teaches you to focus, to be deliberate, to connect with the quiet rhythm of the universe, and in that connection, you find peace. But let us not mistake this for superstition. The salt water ritual is not about magic in the childish sense, it is about resonance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates when it meets its matching frequency, so too does your inner being vibrate when it aligns with clarity, surrender, and intention. By performing the ritual, you are aligning your energy with the frequencies of renewal and abundance. What you attract afterward is not coincidence, it is resonance. So I ask you, dear seeker, what is it that you are ready to release into the salt water of transformation? What patterns, fears, or burdens are you willing to let dissolve, so that your true self may rise, unburdened and luminous, aligned with the great rhythm of the universe? Preparing the sacred space. Every sacred ritual begins long before the act itself. Just as the seed cannot bloom without fertile soil, so too must your intentions be planted in a prepared and purified space. The preparation is not a mere step, it is the foundation upon which the energy of transformation rests. In Buddhism, it is said that when the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Purity begins not only within but also around us, in the environment we create for our spiritual work. The first element of preparation is the vessel. Choose a glass or ceramic container, something transparent, that reflects clarity and openness. Just as we wish our intentions to be transparent before the universe, so too should the vessel embody that quality. Plastic and metal, being artificial and disruptive to subtle vibrations, are avoided, for they cannot hold the purity of this sacred mixture. By selecting a vessel of clarity, you are silently declaring, "My heart and my desires are clear, and I stand open to the flow of the universe." Water is the second element, and it must be pure, filtered, mineral or spring water that carries no impurities. In Buddhism, water is a living teacher of purity, adaptability, and clarity. It reflects the mind. When still, it reveals truth. When disturbed, it distorts reality. As you pour the water into the vessel, do it with reverence, for you are not just filling a container, you are inviting clarity to dwell within your ritual. Visualize your thoughts settling like the surface of calm water, each ripple fading until only peace remains. Salt follows next, coarse sea salt or Himalayan salt if possible, for these carry the ancient memory of oceans and mountains. Salt has been revered for thousands of years across traditions as a guardian of purity, a dissolver of negativity, a preserver of what is sacred. Add it slowly, mindfully, as if each grain were a prayer. Let your movements be deliberate, steady, and filled with intention. In this act, you are stirring the energy of purification itself, blending earth and water into a sacred alchemy of cleansing. Then comes the paper and pen, the carriers of your essence. To write your name is not merely to inscribe letters, it is to summon the energy of your identity, your soul's signature, your unique vibration. In Buddhist philosophy, the act of writing is a form of creation. As you shape the letters of your name, you are shaping your destiny, declaring your intentions, and placing them into the hands of the cosmos. Write with clarity, with gratitude, and with the silent certainty that the universe has already heard you. The environment in which this is done is as vital as the ritual itself. Choose a quiet, clean space, free from distractions. You may light a candle to symbolize illumination, burn incense to invite serenity, or place a lotus, crystal, or sacred image nearby to enhance the energy. What matters is that this space feels like a sanctuary, a place where your soul can breathe freely and your intentions can rise unhindered. As Nostradamus once wrote, "Great changes come not with thunder, but in silence." The silence of your space becomes the ground for transformation. Finally, prepare yourself. Before beginning, sit in stillness and breathe deeply. With each exhale, release the heaviness of the day. With each inhale, welcome peace and light into your being. This is the moment to align heart, body, and mind. Without this inner preparation, even the most sacred ritual becomes an empty act. But with it, every breath, every motion, every word becomes filled with divine resonance. Baba Vanga often reminded seekers that true miracles begin when the heart is ready. By preparing yourself, you are not just setting the stage for the ritual, you are opening the doorway for the universe to enter. So I ask you, dear seeker, when you prepare your space and your heart, do you do it with hurried hands, or with reverence and presence? Can you allow yourself to see preparation, not as a step before the sacred, but as the sacred itself? The cosmic path of transformation. There comes a moment in every seeker's life when the ground beneath their feet feels unfamiliar, as if the old ways no longer sustain the soul's hunger. In that moment, the number of transformation calls, like a whisper from beyond the stars, reminding us that nothing in this world remains unchanged. Transformation is not a collapse, but a rebirth. Just as the lotus blossoms from the mud, radiant and untainted, so too must we rise from our struggles with a renewed spirit. The ancients saw this number as a portal, a sacred code guiding one from limitation into expansion, from fear into freedom. It is a number that teaches endings are not final. They are the seeds of beginning, Buddha once said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." Transformation, therefore, is not granted by the stars or the heavens. It is awakened by our willingness to let go of what no longer belongs to us. Nostradamus often wrote of shifting cycles, where great turmoil would birth even greater wisdom. Baba Vanga, too, foretold of times when humanity would be forced to shed its skin, to rise from the ashes of destruction into a more conscious age. These words echo the eternal truth. Transformation is not optional, it is the very rhythm of life itself. Look to the cosmos, and you will see transformation written everywhere. Stars are born in fire and collapse into silence, only to spark new galaxies. Rivers change their course, carving landscapes anew. Seasons turn, bringing death to one form of beauty so another may flourish. And in the same way, your spirit, your life, and your destiny must honor this law of change. Transformation is not a punishment, it is the universe ensuring your evolution. The number of transformation is also the number of courage. To embrace it is to walk through fire, without fear of being consumed, for you understand that the flame will refine rather than destroy. In Buddhist philosophy, clinging to the past is the root of suffering, while surrendering to change becomes liberation. Every trial you face is an alchemy, designed not to break you, but to purify you into something greater than before. Perhaps you have felt it, a deep stirring within, as though the universe has been calling you to release old habits, outdated beliefs, and even relationships that weigh you down. This is not cruelty, but grace in disguise. Just as a snake sheds its skin to continue growing, you too must shed the layers that no longer align with your higher self. To resist is to stagnate, but to flow with change is to ascend into freedom. Remember this. Transformation rarely comes in comfort. It often arrives through challenges, loss, and the crumbling of what was once familiar. Yet, in those very moments, you discover strength you never knew you carried. In Buddhist teachings, suffering becomes the teacher, and impermanence becomes the guide, for only through change can the soul taste its true freedom. So I ask you now, what part of yourself are you ready to release into the fire of transformation? What layer of your being no longer serves the path you are destined to walk? And so, beloved traveler, we arrive at the final steps of this sacred journey, where all numbers, all symbols, and all teachings converge into a single stream of wisdom. From the opening vibration that awakened your soul, to the sacred numbers that whispered balance, compassion, vision, and transformation, each part has been but a reflection of the same eternal truth. The universe is alive within you. The path of numerology is not merely about digits or predictions, it is about understanding how the cosmos mirrors your inner state, and how every change in your life is aligned with the great rhythm of creation. Buddha once taught, your work is to discover your world, and then, with all your heart, give yourself to it. This is the essence of the journey you have just walked with me. To see that the world outside is not separate from your spirit, but an echo of it. Nostradamus looked into the stars and saw cycles repeating, wars transforming into peace, endings birthing new beginnings. Baba Vanga spoke of an age where human consciousness would rise, where people would live not as divided fragments, but as one great spirit. In these prophecies, one thing remains constant, the assurance that no matter how dark the night, dawn will always come. The sacred numbers we uncovered are not scattered like random stones, but aligned like stepping stones across a cosmic river. Each number is a teacher, one teaching patience, another teaching compassion, another guiding you toward courage, and yet another urging you into transformation. Together, they form a map of spiritual evolution, showing you that every hardship, every triumph, every silence, and every song of your life is carrying you forward. As you breathe in this wisdom, imagine for a moment the universe not as a vast emptiness, but as a great living being. Its heartbeat is the pulse of time, its breath is the wind across your skin, its voice is the whisper that called you here today. To align with these sacred numbers is to tune your spirit to that divine heartbeat, to walk not in resistance, but in harmony. Just as a bird trusts the wind to carry it, so too must you trust the flow of the universe to carry you where you are meant to be. Remember, beloved one, that impermanence is not a curse, but a gift. To cling is to suffer, but to let go is to awaken. Every ending you fear is merely a threshold to a brighter beginning. Every loss you grieve is a teacher reminding you of the preciousness of now, and every transformation you resist is the universe shaping you into the being you were always meant to become. So let me leave you with this. You are not a passive wanderer in this vast cosmos. You are the flame, the star, the seeker, and the awakening itself. When you honor the sacred numbers, you honor the eternal truth that your soul is infinite, boundless, and forever connected to the divine rhythm of existence. And now I ask you this final question to carry in your heart. Which of these sacred truths spoke most deeply to your spirit today, and how will you let its light guide your next step on the path of awakening?